Yes, we're talking about all problems of nutrition, of dietary problems. It's connected to our the way we look at ourselves, our image. It interests so many people, so we wanted to bring it up today. It's connected to all levels of society, all ages. Today in the Western world, almost each person, whether he knows it or not, has some problem connected to nutrition, his diet. It doesn't have to be extreme. It's just some kind of obsessive dealing with his diet. Only meat, only carbs, only this and that. Even communities that gather around this subject of nutrition. Really, it's in every part of our life. I know myself as a teenager. The first thing, let's say if I look at pictures of me when I was younger, every time I look, the first thing I see is whether I was fatter or thinner. It's something that bothers a lot of teenagers, and even when we get more mature. And now we have the International Week for this subject of disorder, of nutrition disorder. Because millions of people really suffer from this problem. People that starve themselves or the opposite, which really damages our health. So maybe people like us who are a bit aware of the mechanism around us and know this hurts our life, a lot of people search for solutions, and there's no common and efficient solution. Because we know we need to get to the source of the problem to solve it, we want to talk about this problem from its core. Why now, like Oren said, in the 21st century, we have such a problem with food, with nutrition, and our body? Why is the subject so sensitive? First of all, I don't see any problem with nutrition. Me, myself, it doesn't bother me. I determine that all this problem, it's from thin air, even to say it so bluntly. Throughout history, there was a problem with food. That's why there were no fat people. People were used to feeling hunger. Even fish, animals, they're used to feeling hunger. Throughout days, even weeks, even months. And the feeling of hunger is natural for a human and to every living being. And from the middle of the 20th century, where we went through a very special period in humanity, till the 50s, where we ended all the process of development with our ego, which grew, and the human society would stabilize in such a way. The main thing is we got to a state that we can supply everyone with their food, with their basic needs. And then a person has nowhere to go, nothing to do. The population doesn't grow. Industry needs more places to sell. And then this industry of excessive food, excessive variety, where we took food from all over the world and transported, and through that we have an industry. And that on one hand, you should buy more and eat more. We see that. What kind of foods for babies and for children and for elderly? And around that we have a whole industry which says this has more calories or less, all sorts of diets. And opposed to that, we have all sorts of food, and we have like a market. where everyone is pulling towards his benefit, for his pocket. That's why I don't see any problem with that. Even what we're talking about, I see that as some kind of, as if I'm entering a problem that we made by ourselves. We created this problem. I like to research problems that are not from someone's invention, but they come from the development of nature, human nature, society. Here we have a problem which is completely coming from the idea of a publishing body of people who wants to sell, and another body who wants to sell diets, and another group of people who want to sell how to be thinner, microbiotics. We have so many different subjects. Each one thinks, how can I take a chunk of this market for myself? How can I benefit? Everyone's like wolves. There's no problem. It's just a struggle, and a person is weak and he suffers. He stands in the middle and he doesn't know where to go. We see people all their life jumping from one diet to another, to this nutrition and other. Nothing is being actually made. Today, in one of my lectures, one of my students who's a scientist in some kind of biotechnology, he's a scientist. He said, how can I eat all sorts of things that are not healthy? This is too much fat, too much cholesterol, and excess of that and this. I said, in my opinion, it's not accepted. It's not that I allow myself everything. It's not that we get it from this field or that field, clean or not clean, biology. If in general a person eats right, not too excessive, it doesn't matter what he eats. It really doesn't matter. All the problem is we have excessive in quantity, and we do too less of sports and activity. We lost the connection with our inner mechanism, because if we would develop kinds of food that we really need in accordance with nature, we wouldn't need anything. We can fire 90% of the doctors. We can close all these factories of candy. Once there were no candies. It's even written what to give to a child if you want to give him, if you make him happy. Give him nuts. There was no candy. A present in the holidays, like Passover, at the time of a holiday, you give to a child a bit of nuts. For him, it was like today, you bring him all these rubbers and jelly beans. If we would rationally keep away all sorts of food, we would empty all these shelves in the supermarket that have nothing, no benefit at all. There was no problem. The problem is, it's not our problem. It's like medicine, that they want to sell us as much as they can. I ask my doctor, how's it going with the patients? Normal. Today, normal is 10 prescriptions for one person. That's normal. That's called a doctor. So same thing here. A person enters a supermarket, you can go crazy. On one hand, we have all this excessive, we have a lot of people overweight, obese, and on the opposite, we have people who are starving. That's what's interesting. We have this opposing to this. Very interesting statistics. 11 million people have empty houses because people couldn't afford their mortgage. And they were exiled, they were kicked out. And there's 11 million families with no home. Those are on the street and the homes are empty. Same thing here with the food. You have Africa and Asia, a lot of places where people are starving to death. And there's supermarkets that 90% of the food they throw away just to fill it up again tomorrow. There was an article about India, because the American culture is entering there. Already people there have excessive weight and have to pay to diet. They have cars that they drive and do less activity, and they see these starving people along the road. It's very interesting that they say they have spirituality in accordance to their religion of love. So we're in a paradox state. We have obesity and a norm that thin is beautiful. No, we don't have this norm of thin is beautiful. The society determines that. Up until 100 years ago, to be overweight was important. It means healthy and beautiful. With a lot of dictionaries, we see someone who's overweight or fat means healthy, and a thin person means unhealthy, sick. While today, those who want you to eat more or less, these kinds, diet places, there's a war. On the one hand, they sell you candy. On the other hand, they show you how you're fat and you have to come to us and we'll manipulate you, and we'll give you a diet. It's a market. No one determined that thin is beautiful. It's just whoever sells you these products determined that thin is beautiful.